recruit Rope as a Rope. If you have a better way to say his name, let us know, please. Is it Roop or Rob? But we're not sure to sign him because, if memory serves, he's a fairly good defender that you can get in this game. What we'll do for the time being is just bring him in for 10 games. I don't think we can really afford much more than that at the moment, but we could afford a few more games to him. But what we'll do is bring him in for a few games, see how he develops, see how he fits into our team. There's a high chance he will stay in the team because the B-stage awards aren't particularly great, and we could do strengthen the team as and where possible. I seem to recall there being a good player in Luca that you can sign. She works out as a fairly good attacker. So with having lost Waka from my team, there's a big void there because I believe is it Botter that plays that side? It isn't particularly good. I think if you commit to him and you keep hold of him until late game, he does become good. But it's whether you want to have him in your team and it's whether you want to put the effort into training.
Bitte, sir.
Sorry?
Forgive me, sir. I meant to say pardon me, but it came out in Al Bed.
Oh, you're in Al Bed.
Mm-hmm. I am Rin, owner of this establishment. Hela du Sadwi.
Huh?
It means nice to meet you.
Ah, well, Heli do sad we to you too.
Mm-hmm. If you are interested, Elbed primers can be found all over Spira. Finding them and learning our language might be fun. Here, let me give you one in commemoration of our meeting. Although you might want to be careful where you speak our language.
That's the third Elbed primer. What I'm hoping is the fact that states number 8, that's not the 8th one we want to find.
Yeah, I hear Al Bed aren't liked much. Sorry.
Deki Krisa.
Someone help! The Chocobos!
That's our cue. Let's go.
Huh?
Oh, thank you for your help. Please, use this.
Huh?
2 mega potions, nice. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what mega potions do, but what we'll do quickly is sort everything. 2,000 to every party member, so 200 to each to one person, 1,000 to one person, 2,000 to everybody. Ether does 100 MP to one character, and whereas the elixir is a full restore for one person, so that's 4 hit points and MP. We have a map which displays the world map, which seems to be held on a 90-degree angle to what you want to be viewing it on. Okay, that's touch confusing why you'd have it at a 90-degree angle, but let's go find
To the
this monster.
Chocobo Corral.
And as far as the Albed Primes go, if anybody else has paid a little bit more attention to them than what I was, were they numerical order or are they just random numbers, random volumes that you find as you go around? Or does it correspond to the letter in the alphabet that it replaces? That's another one I hadn't thought of before until just now. Because was that one the 8th Albed Prime because it revealed the letter H? I wasn't actually paying attention to what letter it revealed. Right, this is a really interesting boss. There's essentially 3 outcomes on this boss altogether. One is you outright die and you need to start again. Not a particularly interesting one that you need to go with. The second is you actually kill the monster. The third is, in a very short time, he's off to start pushing us back. And as he pushes us back, if we get to the edge, he'll knock us off and we'll fall down that nice big ravine.
What now? We got a cliff at our back.
All that happens then is you just carry on the game as normal, but you lose out on gaining half a dozen items, and those items that you get are really blinking useful if I remember correctly. So what I'm actually off to do is use my Aeons as much as possible because they can deal out quite a chunk of damage. Probably should have gone with Ifrit first. With him being the fire, you'd be able to have a good pushback on the Chocobo Eater. Which is something that I was showing my 7-year-old this the other day. Yesterday morning, showing him the stream from the previous day. And he asked me a question of why I highlighted that Whacker's ability earlier gave me access to sensor on the scout and the weapon. But then I wouldn't actually say anything about the monster. So this particular monster is called the Chocobo Eater. He's vulnerable to darkness, and he currently has a maximum 10,000 hit points. I've currently done 1,000 points of damage. So what I'm off to trying to do is, whenever I encounter a new fight or a new enemy, I'm off to just try and give a little bit more of a breakdown on that enemy to just get everyone a little bit more of an understanding. I mentioned that Revelation 2 were 3 friends outside, and because they all knew the game same as I did, it never occurred to them that it could be quite interesting to actually discuss what you're actually encountering every now and again, rather than just relying on people knowing what's going on. So now that we've knocked him over, we can start. If we do enough damage to him, what will happen is he'll get pushed back, and it gives us the opportunity to actually kill him rather than just have us get knocked off the edge of the map. If we do enough damage, he then falls backwards. Like example, that now gives us essentially an extra knockback. If I now use Energy Blast, I'd like to think that means we get a nice big chunk of damage onto him and potentially knocks him over, because I just noticed as I collected that he's have to have 3 attacks back to back. If I'd known that before, if I'd noticed that beforehand, I'd possibly have used Sonic Wing a little bit more. Do now is, because he said you're next, I'm off to shield this, because if possible I'd rather not have the Aeon get knocked out. I can only assume that if he's doing your next, he's planning a large attack. So we've currently dropped him down to half hit points on an attack from everybody and a bit of a brute force from Veilform. That's therefore out. So what it means is a new round of attack from the 2 party members I've currently got out, followed by Ifrit being summoned. Haste. So what I have to do, strange as this sounds, is haste onto Orin. Switch Orin out for Lulu, because the fire magic will do more damage than anything else I've currently got out. That means I'm fully expecting pushback from just Chocobo Eater, which then for me brings out Ifrit. And let Ifrit have a bit of fun, because this is the first time I've actually brought Ifrit out. I've used her for 3 times now, twice because I've had to, and once because I've wanted to. I really do enjoy this version of Ifrit. Meteor strike, is that not is that element? That's looks like it's non-elemental damage. Oh dear, I didn't hit him enough. Oh dear, that's not. I'd have liked to have been able to hit him and then push him back, because now that we're still sat on the edge, it just makes me really nervous that we'll have to get knocked off, because I can't see us doing enough damage now to knock him onto his back in this particular attack. I'd like to have been pleasantly wrong. If it was very underwhelming then. I probably should have used shield rather than gone for the attack. It now means I have essentially 2 turns to try and knock him over rather than having I don't think that dark attack would prevent him from pushing us back. But I'm willing to give anything a try, to try and... Oh, excellent stuff.
Now, hit it hard and we can push it back.
So what I'm going to do now is switch Waka out for Auron, because Auron just hits us so much more than Waka does. Is that a counter attack for when he's on his back? Oh, I should have done power break as well. Yes, okay. So if you do a attack on him, he will. We didn't knock him right back. Sugar. We no longer have Scout on the field. We no longer have anybody with sensors, so we can't see how many hit points he's got. But he should be around about the. No, he's pushed us back. Damn. I will lie. I won't lie. There's a very small part of it that wants to redo that fight because we got so close to beating him. But
Now
I'm
I
not
know
going
I
to.
can count on you.
What I will do.
Give me a break. I
is
just woke up.
with the new
Like
start,
you did
the
much.
new game once I've finished it.
It was
might come
your
back in
idea to
and
fight that
using the expert.
If you're always so groggy, just stay awake.
Yeah, right. Thanks for the tip.
What I'm to hope is that if I do start the new game and come back through with the expert grid, that at that moment I'll actually be able to beat him. So I'll be able to do a comparison of the two saves, and that might be the first one that we actually come back to do the comparison with. And then, now the question is just sort of look at that. Do we loan him any more money? I do believe that later game, the more money you loan him, early game, the more discount he offers later. I've never been a huge item user. It's just not been something that I often use. I want to still rotate party, so my apologies for that. And actually, I've just noticed with the Chocobo Eater, if you don't beat him, you don't actually get any XP from the fight, which kind of makes sense. So, we fought these before. I've never actually gone over the dual horns with any information. So these large monsters are known as dual horns. Because they hit hard, it recommends that you use darkness to reduce the damage they deal. They have no elemental strengths or weaknesses. They just have, for this point in the game, they just have a large amount of hit points. So these currently sit at 1,875. Luckily, we do hit them fairly hard. So, oh, the summons have come back up. I wasn't expecting that. I think Tides he's been hit but not particularly hard. Don't want to bring out the summons, that's just feels like a little bit of a waste. But we've done a full rotation. Because there's nobody needs healing, I will switch Yuna back out. Because the last thing I want her to do is go down with having a fairly small number of hit points, but at the moment, Tidus is the character that has the least amount of hit points.
No problem.
One of the things I did actually want to do is start talking a little bit more, and I feel like I haven't shut up for the last 18 minutes when the game started. I do, however, want to try not to talk during the cutscenes, because I did notice that if I was talking at the same time as the cutscenes, neither me or the cutscene could really be heard or understood what was happening. But the way I'm talking at the moment makes me feel like early morning streams, the streams that are happening at 6 AM, generally happening AM, are chattier than ones that happen at 7 8 o'clock at night. So we won't start doing Sphere Grid yet. We'll leave it a little bit longer, wait until we get a few more. I want to try and, as I said in the previous stream, I want to try and reduce entering the stream constantly. I'd like to just try and use it less to essentially maximise its effect. And it gives me more to talk about, means I can explain where I'm thinking of going with each. So it means I can try and explain a little bit more about how I'm planning to develop the characters rather than in and out constantly. So we've gone to explain about the enemies. So we currently have 2 bombs here. They both have an ability that after they receive damage from 3 times from any source, they will self-destruct, dealing a large amount of damage to all enemies. Or to all allies. Enemies in their view, allies in my view. So they heal from fire damage, and they take an extra 50% damage from ice moves, with a grand total of 85 hit points. 850, my apologies. And then we have the little flan down here, that it takes half damage from fire and ice, heals from thunder, and takes an additional 50% damage from water moves. That is an actual thunder flan. So with it being a flan, it resists physical attacks. So what I'll do is I use Tidus to attack, and he hits for 85. I think that's potentially because he's got a water blade. I'm off to use his Earth Drive, and I am hoping to get ice in the elemental reels. I'm not too fussed about the Thunder Fan, that's not one that worries me. What worries me... Oh, fire, damn. Ice, and if we can get a second ice, that'd be grand. Because I believe that still does turn ice, just not as much damage as what would happen initially. And it only hits the one target. Damn, that was not good in the slightest. So that's everybody on the field at the moment attacking. I'm just hoping they don't target Tidus. Leave Tidus alone. Switch out for Yuna, she can then heal Tidus. Tidus can switch out for Lulu, who can then start focusing on the bombs. I'm off to keep Walker on the field for the time being because his I want to say it's still scout equipped, but it has Ice Strike, so that enables it to do elemental damage with his basic attacks. So I'm hoping that drops it. No, not quite. That's not good. So next turn it'll be Lulu using Blizzard on the flan that hasn't been attacked yet, because Walker's Blitzball is ought to be better focused on the one with less hit points. I don't want to hit the one with 27 hit points for 490 damage. I'd rather hit it for 300. So, Whacker to attack the bomb with less hit points. You need to heal Walker. A Lulu Blizzard onto the remaining bomb. And then switch out to let Orlan get an attack off. It's not to be effective, it's not to be
So be it.
wise, but what I'm aiming now is for just for the XP onto Orlan. What we'll do is just stealing an ability sphere of him. Because as I've stated before, you can never have enough if you know you have to do maximum damage onto it and all you do is transpire turn. May as well use something like that just to make it worthwhile. Oh, nice crest. So the crests, I've picked one up in, I want to say it was the first episode, or first session, I think it might have been the second. The crests take effect much later in the game. They are items. You get a crest, and I can't remember what the other aspect of what the other part of the item is, but you need two elements of it. So one's the crest, one is something else. Each time you can cross one, so the Mars crest, I think relates to, I can't say Lulu, but that could just be me making things up. But you get the two elements, two parts of it. See, it'd be Mars crest and Mars. I can't, not really like for life remember what the other aspect is. Element is called. But you combine both of those parts together, and you get the character's final weapon. Again, I can't for life remember what the actual weapons are. I do know you get them though. And you need two parts, but it's the crest and something else. It might be sigil or seal or something along that lines. But you need two elements of it, and you combine them together in a certain location to then get the final weapon for the character. Which, if I'm correct in thinking, is a lot more damage and has 4 slots attached to it, which we haven't come across them yet. So, talking about, talked about the enemies a little bit more. So the Thunderflam we've already gone through from previous encounter. We have a Pera, which takes extra damage from ice and half damage from fire, but is actually resistant to magic. And as we've seen, as the game tutorial says, this tends to be a Tidus target. What we'll have to use Whacker there. We'll hit with ice. And then we've got a Vulvera. Again, it has 255 hit points. It takes an extra 50% damage from ice moves, and doesn't have any absorptions or reduced damage. The information it gives you is it's covered in hard scales. So if somebody like Whacker or Tidus, who are both physical attackers, were to attack him, they do reduce damage because he's effectively got armor attached. So for him, it would be a Orgon and or Kamari job to finish him off. There's been a Thunderflam, it's water that we want to use. I'm kind of wanting to use
Where's a Chocobo when you need one?
because I want to try and boost up into her next elemental magic. Which, if we just quickly go to this sphere grid, what we can do is just have a look and see how depressing Fire we actually are. So we've got the Fiara, Blizzara, Thundara, and Water. So we are 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're actually only 7 levels away from getting Fiara. If you want to grind a little bit, it is fully possible to have Fiara to fight the Chocobo Eater with, and that does make a huge difference. I have done that in the past, but if we do streaming, I want to try and reduce grinding early game especially down to as little as possible, because nobody wants to watch grinding in an early game. Later on, when I intend to grind in the game, I will put that in the description, because it's not for everybody. So I'll probably have 2-3 hour sessions where, or 2 or 3 hours in session of grinding. If it's something that isn't particularly enjoyed, what I might do is do the grinding off screen. But we will throw it up there and see who's interested in it at the time, and if it works, I will continue doing so. If not, I won't. Likewise, I will have sessions where I dedicate it purely to Blitzball. And again, I will throw that up into the comment section, so, into the video title, so people are aware when those sessions are. Because, again, Blitzball's not for everybody. But there are elements in it where you need to do Blitzball because you get a lot of whackers stuff. So you get his crest comes from that, his final overdrive comes from there, and I believe he gets 1 or 2 weapons out of it as well. So the only one here that's new is the Flyer, the floating eye. It has no resistances. He takes an extra 50% damage from thunder. And here he has a grand total of 140 hit points.
Yeah.
Apologise for that. And now I said about wanting to level up. You use everybody in a fight, but when I've got the correct setup there straight away just to finish them, it just kind of makes sense to finish the fight quicker than later, sooner rather than later.
Coming down to the old. You
What I'll
can't
do
run a
need to do
business
is
with.
have a look at Kamari's weapons, because
can I interest you in something?
he has picked up a few weapons. He's got nothing
Sure
I
are a
want to
lot
sell.
of crusaders about. I
He's
wonder.
got nothing I want to buy. And
Welcome.
He unfortunately doesn't have anything to sell either.
Spare
What I
some
want to do
change, lad?
is, because I've got 6,000 and I've just seen nothing there that particularly interests me, I'm off to make a nice generous offer and go another 5,000.
I'll make it up to you.
Because I just seem to recall him late game selling some half decent weapons.
Yeah.
So we've got the floating eye with 148 points with Thunder Weakness. We have the Vulveri with 255 hit points and with armour. And then we have the Thunder Fan, which is weak to water. And we didn't check Kamari's weapons. So he's actually picked up a hunting spear, which is exceptionally nice because it grants everything that the hunting spear does, plus an extra 10% in strength, which I know I've said previously that the extra strength at this moment in time doesn't make the biggest difference, and it really doesn't. But just imagine if I'd done that previously, and potentially the fight against the Chocobo Eater might have gone slightly differently had I upgraded my items. So I am slightly annoyed at that.